Last class we were talking, as we have seen different types of hidden surface elimination algorithm. The same thing is going to be continued in this class also. I think we have discussed three different categories of algorithm. The first category, which uses uh, depth of back phase deduction, and the second algorithm is depth buffer method. In that we have discussed two different methods, A buffer and Z buffer method, and the last scan line conversion, we have scan line method we have discussed. And now today we are discussing the fourth method, depth sorting method. So in the depth sorting method, it uses both image space and object space operations. So for performing the depth sorting method, two basic operations or functions we are going to do. The first one is the surfaces are sorted in order of decreasing depth. And the second operation is the surfaces are scan converted in the order. Scan conversion in the order starting with the surface of the greatest depth. So this is the two basic operations we are going to perform with this. The sorting operation is carried out in both image and object space, and scan conversion is performed in the image space. So this kind of depth sorting algorithm, the best example for depth sorting algorithm is uh, painter's algorithm, or we can call this as a painter's algorithm. Suppose you wanted to paint something, how the painter will perform the painting? Suppose you wanted to draw some
First
objects.
background,
Yeah,
then
first
front
you
objects.
start with the background object. Background, whatever object you want, you can write, make it, and then the other object. Finally, the foreground object will be touched off. The same way it is going to be used here also in the case of depth sorting algorithm. So it's called as an painter's algorithm. So the coming to the content related to the depth sorting algorithm, painting a polygon surface onto the frame buffer according to the depth. So we are going to paint because the depth information of the foreground will be very high, others will be very less. So we are going to perform the painting based on the depth information. Let us assume that we are viewing along the Z direction. And the surfaces are ordered on, we need to order the surfaces on the according to the smallest z value on each surface. The surface, let us take a surface, yes. The surface S with greatest depth is then compared with the other surface in the list to determine whether there is any overlap is there or not. So we have, this is one object and this is another object we can consider. The surface 1, and let it be the surface S, and another is surface 2. Now we are comparing the surface S with the greatest depth, and we need to compare with the other surfaces in the list whether there is any overlap occurs or not. If there is no overlap, then you can consider this. So in this example, there is no overlap between the surface S1 and S2. So you can have this as such, no issues. If suppose a overlap occurs, then we have to check, we need to check which part is going to be displayed and which is going to be discarded. We need to discuss them. So the surface S, you are comparing with the other surfaces. The surface S which has a greatest depth value is compared with the other surface. Overlapping, then no issues. Whatever the value you have for that, the second projected. The S can be scan converted as such, no problem with it. If suppose overlap occurs, so there are different scenario we are going to discuss with respect to the overlap. Let us take, this is the Z view and this is the X view. It's in viewing coordinate, so I'm representing V here. A surface, this is one surface, and another surface is S1, S2. Two surface, these two surfaces are overlapping or not overlapping with each other?
Not overlapping.
With respect to?
Each other.
I mean, with respect to axis, I'm asking. It's not overlapped with the Z. So you can see that Z values are different for these things. Z overlap is not there, no?
Yeah.
Which means depth overlap is not there. But when we make this in XY plane, obviously overlap will occur. You can see here also there is a overlap with respect to Y. So when we view in XY plane, there will be a overlap, but with respect to the depth, there is no overlap. It's clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we have to find out what kind of overlap is there. So if there is no overlap with respect to the depth, as long as there is no overlap occurs, each surface is processed in depth order until all have been scan converted. If a depth overlap is detected at any point in the list, then we have to make some more comparison to determine whether any of the surface should be reordered. Why we need to reorder it? Because the object, this may be the whatever I'm drawing first, let us consider that is a foreground object, and this is another object we have. So in another case, we can consider this is the object. So this is another object. So in this, there is if depth overlap is there. So in this case, you have to check reordering has to be done. Why we need to reorder the value informations? Because the order of the foreground will be at the longer distance, and the whichever is near to the viewing plane will be at the least depth values. So in some cases it requires the ordering has to be changed. It can be this can be the foreground object. This is one background object, another background object can be this, and this can be the foreground object. In that scenario, it should be reordered. This will be first, second, and third. Can you understand the point what I am explaining? So this is one foreground object. This is another foreground object. This is your background object, but I am representing it. It's for 1, 2, 3. I am representing as of now. From the viewing, I am representing 1, 2, 3. But when you process it and we check it out, this is your foreground object 1, second, and this is your background object 1, this is background 2, and this is your foreground object. So there will be a reordering of depth information will be there. So we have to reorder it. For performing this, we have to go for some test. So this case is very easy case. There is no depth overlap, no issues. We are going to talk about the other cases. If depth overlap is there, what we are going to do with it. So we are going to make a test. The test says that whether each surface that overlap with the yes or not, we are going to test it. We have 4 different scenarios or cases. If any one of the case is true, no reordering is required for that surface. If the test, what are all the tests we are going to perform as test 1. Bounding rectangle in XY plane for 2 surfaces. Doesn't overlap. The surface S is completely behind the overlapping surface relative to viewing position. Viewing position or direction. And the third is overlapping surface is completely in front of S related to the viewing position. The projections of 2 surfaces onto the viewing plane doesn't overlap. So these are all the 4 tests. If any one of the tests is true, no reordering is necessary for the particular surface. So we will discuss with an example how these scenarios are going to be taken place. So test 1. The test 1 is bounding rectangle XY plane for 2 surfaces. They doesn't overlap each other. So how we are going to perform this test? So what we are going to do with this is, as it says, with respect to XY plane. So first we are going to check whether a overlap is there in X direction. Then we are going to check whether a overlap occurs in Y direction. If either of this direction shows no overlap, then the 2 plane cannot obscure one another, or the 2 surfaces cannot obscure one another. Example, for the test 1. This is one surface, S1, and the other surfaces, S2. As I told earlier, it is an X viewing point and this is a Z viewing point. So the test says the bounding rectangle in XY plane for the 2 surfaces doesn't overlap. What we are going to do with test 1, first we need to check whether there is any overlap in X direction, and then we need to check whether any overlap in Y direction. So on seeing this, there is no overlap in X and Y direction. If either of these direction shows no overlap, the 2 planes cannot obscure one another. So, but in this case, I'm talking with respect to only XY plane. What about the Z plane? With respect to XY plane, with respect to previous example, X plane is not overlap. I mean, previous example what we had, Z plane is not overlap, but X plane is overlap. But here when this example, there is a overlap with respect to
Z.
Z also. You can see this portion is overlapping. But X and Y plane overlap is not there. So test 2. So in case of test 2 and test 3, we are going to check whether we are going to check whether it is an inside or outside. I think last class I have talked about inside and outside test. So with respect to a polygon, you can check whether the point is inside the polygon or outside the polygon. So the same logic. So if this is the polygon we have, with respect to filling algorithm, I have explained you. If it is an inside point, then it should be colored with a particular filling color. If it's an outside point, it will have a background color as such. So the same inside outside test is going to be used in the case of test 2 and test 3. The test 2 and test 3 has S is completely behind the overlapping surface, and the overlapping surface is completely in front. It's both backward and forward cases are given here. So with the help of this inside and outside polygon test, we can you find out. So how can we do is, we can substitute the coordinates of all the vertex of a surface S into the plane equation. And from that plane equation, we can check whether it's an inside point or an outside point. I think last class also, in the case of back face deduction also, we have started with the equation of plane ax plus by plus cz plus d equal to 0. If it's less than 0 or greater than 0, then we can decide based on the sign, we can decide whether it's a forward or a backward point. So the same equation of plane equation by which we can find out if the equation of plane are set up so that the outside surface is towards the viewing plane, then S is behind S dash, or S1 is behind S2. So two surfaces with an example I can give you, I can explain you. Let surface S1 and another surface is S2. So we can see here, this is Z and this is X view plane. So in this case, S1 and S1 is one and S2 is the another surface we have. If you can see what happens to the S1 and S2 when you compare S1 and S2, what will happen here? Which surface is overlapping? S1 is behind S2 or S2 is behind S1?
S1 is behind S2.
S1 is behind S1. So when you view it, which object, I mean, which proportion which is visible to you, only S2 is visible from the
Yes.
viewing direction we are talking about. So another example, this is now we can say inside, which is S is the surface S1 is completely behind the overlapping surface S2, which is test 2 we can say. So S1 is inside, we can say S1 is inside, which is behind the S2. And the next example, and S2. So in this case, the overlapping surface S2 is front or back of S1. So S2, now the case here is S2 is completely in front of S1 if all the vertices of S are outside of S2. So S2 is an in front of S, it's a front object of S, but surface S is completely inside or outside.
Which surface, ma'am?
I'm talking about S2. Is the point is clear? S2 is completely in front of S. You are viewing from this direction. This is a front object you have. S2 is the front object you have. If all is the front in front of yes, if all the vertices of S1 are outside, all the vertices are outside of this S2. So the overlapping surface S2 is completely in front. You can say it's outside of the surface S, but S1, but S1 is completely behind
S2.
S2. So 3 tests. This is test 1, test 2 and test 3. If these 3 tests have been failed, then you have to test for the 4th test. By what is the 4th test? The projections of two surfaces onto the view plane doesn't overlap. If test 1, test 2, test 3 and test 4 fails, then we are checking for the test 4. In the test 4, we are checking whether the intersection between the bounding edges of a two surface is occurring or not. We are going to check. So in test 4, let us, this is object means surface 1. Instead of drawing this, I am making as a representation as a surface S1 and another object S2. So we can the test 4, this is the test 4 we are going to do, checking for the intersection between the bounding edges of two surfaces using equation of line in XY plane. We can draw a bounding box, which is a rectangular bounding box. It's let it be another bounding box. So this is one case. The other case is S1 and S2. So you can draw a bounding box for these two objects and another bounding box for this. So these cases in test 4 we are representing in an XY plane. The bounding box can intersect with each other. It may or may not intersect with each other. This case you can see the objects are not intersecting, but only the bounding box intersecting. In the second case you can see the objects also intersecting and the bounding box also intersecting. So in two surfaces may or may not intersect even though their coordinate extents overlap in X, Y and Z direction. So or if these 4 tests are failed, then there is no need for reordering. We can have as such, else we need to reorder based on the cases. So how we are going to reorder it? S and S dash, we have some example. So in this case, how we are going to reorder it? As we have discussed, if any one of the case is true, then we have to check for, we need to reorder it. How we are going to reorder it? We have, let it be S1 and S2. The surface S1 has greatest depth, but which object is behind this?
S2 we have to do.
S2. X2 is absorbing surfaces, which S1 has a greatest depth. So this has the highest order. So while projecting it, how you will project it? Which will be the visible surface?
S1.
Yes.
Projection
yes.
on which?
So whichever the forest point, that will be not going to be visible. Suppose we have S1, S2 and S2. In this case, how it is going to be displayed? S1, S2, S3. With respect to the depth, if you are writing it, how it will be? It will be actually S1.
S3 would be at the least depth.
S2, S3. This is the order it is there. The three surfaces entered into the sorted surface list order is S1, S2, S3 order it is there. This is behind this. And it should be reordered into, while viewing how it is, which is going to be viewed first, which is going to be displayed. This case, which is viewed while you view in this case, I'm talking about this case, which one is viewed?
S1 is viewed and
Yes,
then
one. This case, which one will be viewed?
S2.
S2. So actually, when we make it with respect to this viewing coordinate, we are saying S1, S2, S3. But while viewing, how we are viewing it? S2 and then
S3 and
S2
then S1.
and then S3 and S1. So we need to reorder in this case. This is the reordering we are getting it. Clear? So actually this is the list, sorted list, but we are reordering it and we are viewing this in this way. This is S3, S2, sorry. S1, S3, S2 we have. After reordering, after viewing it, we are reordering it and we are viewing it. So this depth sorting algorithm, based on sorting only it is executing. So this depth sorting algorithm is useful to view the visible surface of a given object. With the help of the above four tests we can do it. Whether it's overlap occurs or not, based on that we can do it. The second, the next method, which is the fifth method, is BSP tree method. It's a binary space partitioning tree method. BSP stands for binary space partitioning. So as it says, it's a tree method. So we are going to construct a tree from the given objects. So what kind, with the respect to the front and the back object, with the viewing plane, we are going to construct a tree. So let us take an example. So the objects we have are let it be this objects. So these are all 2C I have used. A, C, D are the objects we have, and we have a plane P1. This is plane P1. The viewing direction of this plane P1 is this is front side and this is the back side. So as it suggested, we are going to construct a tree structure with the help of this partition plane. So what are all the objects that can be viewed from the viewing plane P1? When you view from P1, what will be the front object you can see? That will be kept in the left side. It's a front. And the right side of the tree is going to have back object of the plane P1. So what are all the objects we have in with respect to this front object? With respect to P, how many objects? I have drawn 3 objects, A, C, D. How many objects are in front of P1?
2.
Objects. What are all they?
A and
A
C.
and B.
A and C. But when you see A, only a part of A is present in frontal view. Part of B is present in backside of P1. Clear, this portion. So I am making this as an B. This is back, don't confuse with this. Clear? So a portion of A and C is visible with this P1 view, and the this B and the D is visible in as a back view of P1. So here we can say we have A and C will be there, A and C will be here, and it is going to have B and D. So if there is an like this, if there is an overlap of a region, if a object is not overlap, if the object is divided like this, again we can use another plane to represent this. So another plane is used here, P2 plane. The view here is, this is the frontal view, and this will be the back view of the P2. Now with respect to P2, what are all the object with this front of P2 and what will be the back of P2? Previously we have made this as A and C. I'm right. Front of P1 is A and C. Front of B is B and D. Already we have found this. Now here again we are using another plane. With P1, what is the front and what is the back with respect to this?
Front is A and B, and then back we have C and D.
Yeah, back is C, only with this portion I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's why I have made A and C. You are talking about the entire content. With respect to P2 view, you are saying C and D is the back side, A and B will be the front side. With respect to this, already we have made a division. Again, another subtree we are going to construct with respect to this. So what will be the value node we will, or the object we can view with this? So I can write it here P2. Clear? Now P2. So A and C already we know, which is the formed with the help of P1. And again in P2, what is the object you can view? Only A and C is present in the frontal view of P1. P2 frontal view is, this is the frontal A,
okay.
and back view is
C.
C. Similarly here,
B is in the front and then D is at the back.
B is the frontal view and D is the back view. Yes. Now we have constructed. If suppose while making it, while you draw the line, if it is again I am drawing P3. If it is making and again the object is divided into two portions, again you need to construct a tree. Again you have to consider those information and then you have to make a tree. So this tree information, from this tree information, you can easily say what are all the objects that can be viewed, and you can, this will be very much useful for finding out the visible surfaces with respect to front and the back view. And the next method is area subdivision. It's a sixth method. So its name itself, it says we are going to divide the area into sub areas. So the given area will be first divided into 4 equal halves. Further, it will be divided into 4, 4, 4 until we have a single pixel informations or a single visible surfaces is there. We are going to further divide the area into and further areas. So to make this, we have to again check the different tests we are going to follow here. Based on the test only, we can decide whether it is single view or a multiple view. Test to perform or check the visibility of single surface within the specified area. So for performing this, what we are going to do is we are going to compare the surface with the boundary area. So this is the boundary we have, and the corresponding object surface will be compared with the boundary, and then we are going to decide whether it's a single view or a multiple view we are going to have. So there are 4 possible relationships that a surface can have with respect to this specified boundary area. Those relationships are, this is not the test. Before performing the test, we need to know what are all the relationships it is having, or a characteristics we can say. Relationship between the surface and the boundary. Surrounding surface, overlapping surface, inside surface, and outside surface. Surrounding surface is the one that completely encloses the area. The surface is completely encloses the area. Overlapping surface, a part of a surface is partially inside and partially outside the area. And the third is inside surface. The surface is completely inside the area. Outside surface, the surface is completely outside the area. So how can we represent these representation? Let us take the boundary or the area as this rectangle. So I mean square. I'm considering one square. The first case is surrounding surface. The surface is completely encloses the area. So the object I'm using in different color. Let the surface or the object we can say. So this is the area we have, and the blue line is the surface. So you can see the surface is the area is completely enclosed by the surface. And the second is overlapping surface and the area. It is over area and the surface is overlapped. And the third category is, it's a reverse of this. We have a surface and the area is here, surface is completely inside. The surface is completely inside. And last cases, this is the area and the surface is completely outside. So these are all the four relationship with respect to the surface and the boundary or the area after subdivision. So with this relationship, we are going to check or test for determining the visibility. So the tests are first test. All the surfaces are outside the surface with respect to the area. All surfaces are outside surfaces with respect to area. Only one inside overlapping or surrounding surfaces is in the area. A surrounding surface obscures all other surfaces within the area boundaries. So these are all the three important tests that this test will determine the surface visibility within the area. Based on this 4, we have categorized. This 4 will say the visibility of the corresponding surfaces. With this, we are making a 3 test. This test will decide whether the further division. So as I told you, it needs to be divided until you get a single surfaces. This 3 test will helpful for us to decide whether the further subdivision is required or we can stop the dividing the area into sub areas. The test 1, all surfaces are inside with respect to the area. The test 1 is carried out by checking the boundary rectangle of all surface against the area boundaries. The test 2 uses the bounding rectangles in XY plane to identify an inside surface. For other types of surfaces, the bounding rectangle can be used as an initial check. If a single bounding rectangle intersects the area with some other way, the additional checks are need to be determined whether the surface is surrounding or overlapping or outside. Once a single inside, overlapping or outside has been identified, its pixel intensity are transformed to the appropriate area within the frame buffer. So these 3 tests will say all surfaces. For example, you have 2 objects. These 2 objects are there. You are dividing this into 4 regions. So this, with respect to this area, we are performing with respect to each and every area, we are performing it. If all the surfaces are outside with respect to a particular division, then with respect to this division, what happens to these 2 objects or the surface? This is the division I am considering. With this division, which case is possible out of these 4 cases? When I compare the objects, which is true? The question is clear?
Outside.
Can
Ma'am.
you repeat that again?
Yeah. This is the division area I am considering. This is the boundary I am considering. These are all the two surfaces. S1 and S2 are the two surfaces. With respect to this boundary, S1 and S2 falls under what kind of relationship?
Outside.
Outside. So fourth condition, which is outside. S1 and S2 are outside. I have another
Yes.
object. The case one is all the surfaces are outside with respect to the area. Case one. And another condition I am taking. Another surface S3.
Inside, sir.
What happens?
Inside surface.
S3 is inside, but other two, S1 and S2 are outside.
Yes, ma'am.
S4.
Outside.
With respect to, I'm talking with respect to only this, so it's outside. When we compare
Outside.
with respect to this box, this boundary area,
Overlapping.
it's
Overlapping.
overlapping. So S3, when you compare with this bounding area, S2, S1, when you compare S1 with this bounding area, it's inside.
Inside.
So all the cases are now clear. So if there is a overlapping, only one inside are overlapping or the surrounding surfaces is in the area, or all the surfaces are outside with respect to area, surrounding surface obscures all the other objects within the area bounding. These three test cases will decide you whether we need to divide it further or not. Last one is octree. Just octree. Time is there. Octree is very simple. Already we have discussed this octree when we start discussing about 3D representation. It's a seventh method. I'm right. Sixth or seventh octree. The previous method is sixth, I guess. Area subdivision. So find out the correct number. The next method is octree method. In the case of octree, we will use to have a cube. With the help of the cube, we can say which side is frontal and which side is back side. So we can draw the divisions 0, 1 and 2. Actually, it has 8 divisions. It's very difficult for me to draw the cube. Okay. So from this viewing direction, it's viewed 0, 1, 2, 3 are what? I'm viewing from this direction. 0, 1, 2, 3 are which side? Visible side or hidden side?
Visible.
Visible. 0, 1, 2, 3 are the octants or visible surfaces from this viewing direction. What about 4, 5, 6, 7? It's a backside.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's a backside for the viewing direction. So with the help of this octree representation, we can easily find out whether it's a visible or a backside. So further, if there is an overlapping of objects, further we can divide this and then we can find out whether it's a visible or a overlapping. The last method is ray casting method. The pixel plane is there and you have an objects. So we can determine the objects in the screen with the help of this ray casting object, whether it's visible or not. calculating all the ray surface intersection, and then we can identify the visible surfaces. So we have this is a pixel. So many rays are passing here, whichever is passing through the objects. So with the help of this thing, we can find out the visible surfaces. Whichever it strikes, those regions are called as an visible surfaces. So right now we are talking about the surfaces. Similarly, we can say hidden line elimination or a hidden line removal. So when we talk about an wireframe representation, all the wireframes will be represented in the form of lines only. So in such cases, we will use a hidden line elimination. The same thing can be applied and we can remove the hidden lines. So for removing the lines, basically I will show you another example. This is for line. Till now we have talked about surface. This is for line, and the last one is surfaces, I mean curves. So the curves can also be find out with the help of visible curves can be find out with the help of ray casting method and arc tree method. So I'll just show you PPT and then I'll wind up the class. So you can see here, as we talks about an Z buffer, it has two buffer. One has the depth information, another one has the refresh buffer information. So the each and every pixel informations will be there. You can see this will be the intensity value of the corresponding refresh buffer, and the depth value when you calculate it, this is the depth information you will have. And with respect to line removal, so in the case of surface, we are talking about the surfaces, and this portion is not, I mean, overlapped. These two are overlapping. When you view from the direction, this back side of this will not be visible, and similarly the front side of this object will not be visible. And when it comes to one line, wireframe methods, you can see those lines cannot be visible. That lines need to be removed off. And these are all the different methods we have. What kind of whatever we have discussed, whether the object is front or back or nothing is overlapped or nothing is there. All those things we have discussed, different algorithms and all. I'll post this PPT. So we have discussed different methodologies used for finding out the visible surfaces. Next class, we will be moving on to the surface rendering. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.